Natasha, the search for those 3 American missing women still continues. They nearly entered Mexico nearly 3 weeks ago, but their family relatives have not been able to connect with them. The two sisters and friends entered Mexico last month, but have yet to return.
Americans Maritza Perez Rios, Marina Perez Rios, sisters, and Dora Sanes traveled from Panitas, Texas on February 24th to Montemorelos, Mexico, roughly a 3-hour drive to sell clothes at a local flea market. That's the last time their whereabouts would be known. The FBI is now investigating disappearances after family members failed to make contact with any of the 3 women. Concerned family members of the women post to Facebook. They are sisters, they are cousins, they are aunts, and there are many people waiting for them, says Luri Arredondo. Dario Martinez says, 2 of my aunties are missing. Those 2 mothers of families. Those 2 working women, sisters, daughters, good friends are missing more than 10 days. The last person to hear from the women was one of their husbands who spoke to her on the phone while she was traveling to Mexico. He grew concerned after not hearing from her later. It's the second reported case of missing Americans in Mexico in the past month. Last week, 4 Americans were kidnapped by the Gulf Cartel. 2 of the Americans, Shahid Woodard and Zadell Brown, were killed by the cartel. Eric Williams and Latava McGee were later found by Mexican authorities. This disturbing trend is not entirely uncommon right now. There are 550 Americans missing in Mexico, according to the Washington Post. When asked for comment, the U.S. State Department said that when U.S. citizens go missing, the department, quote, works closely with local authorities as they carry out their search efforts, and we share information with families however we can. The 550 Americans missing in Mexico is a fraction compared to the total number of Mexican nationals reported missing in the country, more than 112,000. Residents of Matamoros tell NewsNation that the kidnappings of Mexican nationals is common, but almost never discovered due to law enforcement corruption, and the only ones searching for those missing individuals are their desperate relatives.
Now, Natasha, that recent disappearance has prompted Texas Department of Public Safety issuing a warning to Americans not to travel to Mexico during spring break and beyond right now.
And Jorge, I want to ask you while we have you, Texas House Republicans are introducing a bill that would give some citizens the authority to arrest migrants who illegally cross the southern border. This is Representative Matt Schaefer. He filed House Bill 20 on Friday, and it proposes the creation of a so-called Texas border protection. How exactly would that work?
Yeah, Natasha, we're still waiting for more details, but if this bill passes, it will give some citizens here in Texas the authority to arrest, detain, even deter migrants from illegally crossing in the U.S., even the use of non-deadly force. According to that bill, only law-abiding citizens without a felony on their record are allowed to join. Also, it would allow Texas Governor Greg Abbott to appoint a citizen as a chief of that U.S. Border Protection Unit. As you imagine, Natasha, this might face some legal battles in court, so we'll see if this passes. This also comes as the head of U.S. Border Patrol Chief Raul Ortiz is set to testify at a Homeland Security Committee hearing on Wednesday in McAllen, Texas. D.C. lawmakers saying that by having those hearings here at the border, it gives those lawmakers from D.C. a chance to hear from citizens who are impacted here on the border on the ongoing migrant crisis. So this is going to get really interesting. We'll see if this passes, but U.S. Border Patrol Chief Raul Ortiz will be here Wednesday in McAllen to testify, and we'll see what comes out of that, Natasha.
All right, Jorge Ventura live for us at the border. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.